Hello and welcome back to Advanced Hwoarang Lessons. Today we're going to talk about RFF, and in particular, high crushing in RFF. So there's RFF back 4 and RFF down back 3. These two moves have always high crushed in RFF. However, their value has changed over time, and we're in season 4 right now, and I can say for sure the move I'm spamming has skyrocketed and that you should buy this stock immediately. Because this, well, it's still the same. It does its job. More on it soon. So, the original high crushing move that did have reward was RFF down back 3. Because on counter hit, it's gonna crush at 10 frames, mind you. Again, it crushes at 10 frames. It's gonna high crush at 10 frames. And you got a full launch. And in this case, you got, basic B&B, 82 damage. That is huge. Again, but it's only NCC. If it gets blocked, -2 and they're slightly off axis. But there's no reward for the opponent being slightly off axis. There's none. So RFF down back 3, again, crushes at 10 frames, starts up at 17 frames. And as you can see, it is -3 on hit, which means if you did want to press a button, you can. You can down jab. You can do another RFF2, which will come out at 13 frames. You can throw out your own DF1, come out at 16 frames. And you can still move at -3. You can backdash, step, all that kind of jazz, because you're sitting at the iffy frames. -3 all the way up to +3. The other thing is that this low, very, very good, very low risk, very, very low risk. It's -11. So if you throw it out and your opponent blocks it, sometimes they might not punish it. You know why? Because if they do press a button, you already know what's going to happen. Just like knock this down 2-2, they're going to get launched. And the opponent doesn't want that to happen, that's for sure. So you're going to be at -11. You can, I don't know, you want to do something. Very cheesy, perhaps. Hey, but what about your backlash? If you don't want to backlash, at least you're safe. Then you can just hold back and, return back to neutral or whatever situation you and your opponent are going to find yourselves in. And on counter hit, if you didn't let it rip, you're +4. However, again, just like RFF DF4, there is no visual indicator here to know when you're counter hit. This is going to be on pure experience alone on whether or not you are -3 or whether you're +4. And at +4, you can, pretty much keep your opponent in front of you. So if I counter hit into DF1 +2, all right, they step that way. But if I change that to DF1, nah, I guess they're stepping towards the left. How about towards the right, though? Down back 3 into DF1 +2. Oh, all right, cool. So they're stuck here. Well, with DF1 +2, of course. And at +4, your homing move now turns into 16 frames, so you can use that. But more or less, you're not going to be keeping them with the mid. Because even at +4... your RFF down back DF4 is still getting steps. So DF1 +2 will catch your right, but your left is very, very exposed there. So that's where the highs come in and the lows. It's still a situation you can play around with and make it your advantage. So its counterpart was RFF back 4. Now this move is 18 frame startup and it crushes at 6 frames, 4 frames faster than RFF down back 3. And it's +13 kg on hit, as you can see, as the Hwoarang just spins. And it's only -9 on block with some slight pushback compared to this. There's no pushback, but you're -11. Now on counter hit, this does tailspin immediately, and you get 71 damage off it. Now the tailspin was only added in season 4. Prior to that, it really just spun the opponent around, if I remember correctly. Now, it does crush faster, with it being just slightly slower at 18 frames versus 17 frames. But there's also another thing, right? It is +13 kg. So, question is, can I use these frames? Because that's the Hwoarang question. That's the $1 million question with Hwoarang. You can see me hovering over at backdash. Can I use +13 kg on hit? No, you cannot. Well, actually, you can, but you can't use the standard stuff. You can't DF4. You can't down 3-4. And you can't JFSR. Those are the stuff you typically do if there's like slight pushback on the move. But in this case, your follow-ups for RFF B+4 are as follows. FF4, FF3, 3-4, DF3-4, I while standing 3, down back 3, and down back 4. Let's go through them one by one. Number 1, FF4 is the best option you have right after RFF B+4. Why? Because this can't get stepped. That was sidestep left. I'm gonna change it to sidestep right. For as long as you input this move as fast as possible, they're not walking this, they're not stepping it at all. They're basically locked in. So the situation you're pretty much gonna end up with is, if the opponent's smart enough not to press a button or not too feisty, -7. -7 with pushback. Safest situation you'll get, and the best scenario you'll get is that the opponent did decide to press a button, or they decided to move without canceling into a block. You get the hit into Oki. That's great. What's the second one? The second one is FF3. So this will catch backdash. In fact, FF3 catches almost everything. There you go. So it catches the backdash. Gonna catch the step. Whoa. I was labbing this. I double checked the information. Whoa. There you go. Catches the step. And of course, will catch the walk. So your timing on FF3 kind of matters. Don't do it super fast, but just the right amount. However, this move does lose if you interrupt it. So it catches all the steps, catches the backdashes, but it is slow. So if your opponent does decide to press a button, it is interruptible up to 15 frames, 16 frames even? Yeah, no, 15 frames interruptible. 16 frames is when you have your advantage, because that was DF4 and back 3 respectively. But 15 frames, the opponent has free reign to interrupt you if they decide to. That's the only weakness of FF3. And of course, the timing on the step one. Now, what's very interesting is Flying Eagle. This one I did not expect, but it's cool. You see the first hit whiffs here, right? And you're thinking, yeah, I can backdash and interrupt that. What if I told you that wasn't the case? So you get hit by RFF B+4, you mash. Oh, okay, mashing doesn't work. Backdash into mash. Oh, it doesn't work. What about backdash into down jab? That didn't work either. Backdash into evasive move? No. That was back 1. Get hit again. I'm gonna try to do back 2. Backdash? No. You know what the only thing you can do here? Backdash into DF3-4? Oh, you can't even do that. What you have to do is DF3-4 immediately. So they have to power crush immediately as soon as they get hit by it. They can't backdash and try to get an advantage. And that's thankfully because the second hit of Flying Eagle is a mid string. Very, very useful. That's the only thing 3-4 loses to. It beats the step, beats out any interruption on the backdash because it gives the opponent the idea that they will catch, catch a step. It only loses to power crush. And it has to be a fast power crush too. They gotta press it immediately. And I'm not sure if anyone would want to do that. Yeah, great move. Second best. Probably even tied for first versus FF4. The next thing is DF3-4. Now this, I think it doesn't need any explanation. It does its job, right? So RFF B+4 power crush. And there are layers to this. Again, you can do the back 4. You can do the DF3 by itself. You can cancel out. Because, they're going to think like, oh, I'm going to get hit by the power crush. I'll wait and I'll punish it. And then you cancel it. Oh, okay. The only con for this one, it catches all the steps as well. Just to show you a couple. So sidestep left. Boom. Sidestep right. Boom. Side walk left. Boom. Sidestep. Side walk right. Boom. Oh, I canceled. But hey, you're still following them, which is great, right? So, the only con here is that it's a power crush. So if the opponent, I don't know, randomly grabs at -13, you lost. Remember, you're in a power crush state. Can't get out of that. Now, the other one that is really, really cool is while standing 3, because depending on how fast you do it, it will become interruptible. So if you're slow with your instant while standing 3, that's interruptible. I'm mashing DF1 here and the jabs doesn't work. Again, you know while standing 3, right? It's pseudo homing. Very, very pseudo homing. Whoa. There you go. There you go. That caught sidestep right. Okay, that was on block. Gotta make sure it's on hit. Always make sure it's on hit. Side walk right. That's a jump. I need side walk left. There you go. However, this is the fastest input I was able to get it on. And if you is backdashable. Although I'm not doing a good job of that. There you go. So that's the only thing. Like, if it's like super, super fast, depending if you vary the timings, the only timing I have in the notes is the super fast one. But when I was labbing it, the timings do vary on like what you can get in terms of reward. But my main option was like, don't make it interruptible and make sure it catches a lot of stuff. So at least you eliminate a lot of stuff except the backdash. But of course, if you're mixing that up with Flying Eagle and FF4, there's a chance you can get instant while standing 3. The other one are the 2 lows, down back 3 and down back 4. They catch all the steps. It's a low. Therefore, low parryable. That's the only con on this. And blockable. That's about it. But it catches everything else. So, of those alone, you probably just want to run with FF4 and the Flying Eagle all the time. When you get a RFF back 4 to connect on hit. Uses. Yes, uses. How do you use this move? Mainly, you use them with moves that transition you to RFF. Yes, you can like manually transition RFF and they do a God Fist, RFF back 4 or RFF down back 3 is gonna catch them. But mainly, it's connected to a move because the opponent's gonna try to challenge something. So here I have recorded forward 2. And if you press a jab, you'll lose. And it's -2. You'll like try to take advantage, right? You want to press a jab. If you press too much, oh, that's a counter hit. That's very, very good for Hwoarang. That's a 10 frame. This is 11 frame kick. It doesn't turn into a counter hit. But if I press back 4, oh, it still doesn't turn into a counter hit. So you have to like fully commit into your 1-2 to turn that into a counter hit. Let's check RFF down back 3, right? Does it have the same thing? Yeah, that's where the issue lies. Not unless the opponent presses the 1-2, it's gonna turn into a full counter hit. If I press a standing 4, that is apparently registered as a counter hit. If I press back 4 right after this, that does not register as a counter hit. So you see, that's the problem. So if I press back 4, you get punished. Compared to if it doesn't register as a counter hit, you just get the hit and you're plus 13. That's something to consider. Another scenario is if they do it off back 4. So let's say I jab, full counter hit. Although that was a 1-2. If I press a 1, there you go, no counter hit. If I press a 4, no counter hit. And if I press back 4, no counter hit. On the 1-2, that's when it turns into a counter hit. Now here's down back 3-3, same sauce. 1, no, that's a duck. That's a duck into a launch. 1-2. Of course, again, it does crush at 10 frames. So it's a little bit slower, but the 1-2 registers as a counter hit there. Standing 4 by itself, nothing. Back 4, still not a counter hit. If you press something really, really slow, F4, yeah, it's a counter hit. Of course, it's not limited to situations where you're negative on block, right? Forward 2 and back 4, that's if you really, really want to be like, you know, I have some cheese for you. That's what you're telling your opponent. You can do it when you're plus as well. And this is one of those situations. RFF down 4 into RFF down back 3. If I press a jab, still does not register as a counter hit. Standing 4 does not register as a counter hit. And back 4 finally registers as a counter hit. If your opponent does press a 1-2 though, that's when you win. So that's like the thing you have to watch out for when you're gonna attempt to high crush an opponent. Like, are they really fully committing to their highs? Or are they just pressing a 1-hit high? Because you saw there, it did not register as a counter hit. We'll go back to it. After forward 2, if the opponent presses a jab, immediately right after, it doesn't. But if I think I press a little bit late, there you go, that's the counter hit. So, but typically, more often than not, they're pressing immediately just to see if like they can take their turn. So you have basically more room to operate. You know, technically, you have more stuff to do with RFF back 4 when it does hit, and not even crush, right? When it does hit, like this is like not comparing the crush part of them. It's just comparing, okay, they both high crush. The crush frames are a little bit different, but what can I do with the moves? So down back 3, if you have the hard read, you are essentially getting way more damage because again, the B&B comparison, this is gonna sit at 82 versus 70, 71. But the moves by itself, -3 on hit, plus 13, -11 on block, and then -9 on block. There is slight pushback, but you know that pushback's kind of negligible because they can like dash up immediately. So if it weren't for Season 4, I'd tell you, just use whichever one you want, right? English. Use whichever one you want to use if this wasn't Season 4. But since it is Season 4, and this is probably going to be the final version of the game until Tekken 8 comes out, I highly recommend staying with RFF B+4 more, simply because it crushes at 6 frames compared to 10 frames, although this is faster by 1. So there might be some scenarios where pressing RFF down back 3 is better. But in general, RFF B+4 safer, RFF down back 3 useful. However, best if you really know, that they press the button. That was just a short comparison between the 2 high crushing moves in RFF. End screen's gonna show you the next advanced lesson when it does drop. So that's it for me. I've been Frontier, and I'll see you with the cheese next time.